Okay, so this is a short interview with three students who volunteered after the Beirut explosion in August 2020. Could you introduce yourselves?
So my name is Ruy. I'm Portuguese and Italian, and I pretty much lived in the Middle East for 15 years of my life. So that's kind of how I got to know Heba and Mariam at school. Currently a second year politics and international relations student here in Manchester.
Hi, I'm Mariam. I'm Egyptian. I'm a second year law student, and I know them from my high school in Dubai.
Hi, my name is Heba. I'm Jordanian Palestinian, but I also grew up in Dubai, and I'm a second year medical student.
Okay, thank you. And can you tell us how your volunteering came about?
So I was kind of sitting with my parents for dinner, and all of a sudden on the news we see that there had been an explosion in Beirut. And having lived in Saudi Arabia, a lot of my friends were Lebanese growing up. So for me, it was kind of, okay, that happened in Beirut, okay, but it's not just something on the news, it's something that impacts people I know, friends, their parents, their other friends that are in Lebanon. So my first instinct was, I really wish I could do something. And then I kind of realized I could do something, the pandemic in Dubai was quite controlled. I think the rules there were quite good. So my first thought was to message Mariam, because she lived like on the street that's perpendicular to mine, and she has a car, which is convenient. I said, yeah, do we want to do something? And then we just put out like a story on Instagram, and it all kind of started from there.
Yeah, so at the time I had also been very emotional about what had happened in Beirut, and I felt overwhelmed by my feelings towards like wanting to do something. And I was posting a lot on my social media being like, guys, we need to do something. We need to be a bit more proactive. We need to start donating. We need to be more educated. So when Roy messaged me, I was very like keen and very like, yes, what can we do? I'm ready to do anything. So at first it was just going to be him and I donating some stuff to the Lebanese community, because they were very vocal on social media about how they were sending stuff to their families and friends back in Beirut, and as well just to like other people in need. So we were just going to donate our stuff, and then it occurred to me that I could just, while I'm being very active on social media, to tell people that Roy and I are going to do that. So I posted that, guys, me and Roy are going. If anyone wants to donate with us and drop it off at mine, or wants me to collect it, I'll be more than happy to, and I'll drop it off to the Lebanese community. We got quite a few responses. We were quite successful with our responses, and Roy also posted and he got a few responses. Heba was one of them. And from how successful it was, we ended up having way too many stuff with us, because we ended up collecting money and to buy stuff from the supermarkets, and we collected clothes and just anything other people thought they would want to donate. I ended up needing another car, so I called Heba and I was like, Heba, I need another car. I need you right now, because I don't have enough space to carry all the stuff. And that's where Heba came in and helped us out.
Yeah, so like Maria mentioned, it was, I think, a event that quite shocked the world, but it also shocked like a lot of Arabs, especially because we knew people back there. So while all this was happening, I was obviously more than happy to donate after hearing the stories of people that I knew in Beirut, and they were sending me their videos, their photos about how it impacted them. So it was obviously impossible to say no when she asked for another car and more help. So essentially we're picking up more donations. I know that Mariam and Roy took a big part in going to the supermarkets with the money and essentially buying all the essential items that they needed. And we came across a problem at one point where the initial person we were going to drop off the items to had too many items, and they were like, we're no longer accepting any. So overnight we were just looking on Instagram, and I came across a friend who knew someone that was picking up donations. So I contacted that individual, and we set up a time to meet up, and they had asked us if we could collect more donations on their behalf, since they also got responses. So we essentially just split off the different location points based on where we lived, and went off in different cars to collect even more items, to the point where we filled up 3 cars with boxes of either foods, blankets, clothes, sanitary products, masks, because of the COVID crisis. And we ended up dropping them off before that person then took them to the Red Cross. So I think Mariam would get into this a bit more than I will, about the current political situation there and how that influenced the items that we chose to buy or donate.
Yeah, so basically, a lot of people don't have access to electricity or heating. So when it came to food specifically, it was very important to buy stuff that didn't really need to be cooked. So we couldn't really buy any raw items. Also, like shipping it over, you didn't want anything to spoil. That had to be factored in. So we mostly went for non-perishable or perishables, or canned meats that don't need to be cooked because they can't cook it, since their stoves aren't working, kettles aren't working, they can't boil water. So it's very important to factor that in. And then obviously winter was coming soon, and because of the political crisis and just the income inequality gap, there's a lot of people who are on the who can't access clothing and blankets, and now their homes are destroyed as well. So that just escalated the problem for them. So it was important to have to buy blankets as well, and clothing that would keep them warm in the winter. Roy also got contacted by one of his friends. Roy, would you like to?
Yeah, I was asked to try and get some wheat and flour to make bread, and I think that's kind of when we all realized that, you know, it's one thing to say we're going to help and we're going to do something, but then you don't realize the gravity of the situation, or at least I didn't, when something that I take as a staple, pretty much, you know, I go outside to Tesco's or Sainsbury's or whatever, and I have all the bread in the world, and something quite basic and important. So I think at that point we began to realize that, you know, it was a big deal, and if we could do something about it and get even things that we think were overall quite basic, then we should and we could do that. So I think it also became not only an opportunity to volunteer and help out, but also a point of reflection, you know, on how things can go from what can get really bad really, really quickly. So yeah.
That's all fantastic. So do you each have a final message about volunteering?
I think appreciate volunteers a lot more. A lot of hard work goes behind, is put in and is behind charities and helping out. It's a physical struggle as well as a mental struggle when problems come up, such as when Heba mentioned that the initial person that we were going to drop off of the donations to was not going to accept any more donations. We had to come up with a solution to send over the packages that we've made. As well, in Dubai, it was hot, it was humid, so that just made it a lot harder for us to, you know, like keep going, but you have to.
I would also say, though, as cliche as it might sound, the smallest contribution that you could do could actually make a long-term impact. So you might think that, like, oh, what's good, like, what's one can that I donated gonna actually do? But that one can could have fed another person for another day. So no matter what, no matter how small your contribution is, don't ever feel like your contribution would be insignificant, because it really, really does help people, especially in times of crises. So no matter what, just do that. And I guess it's an experience that you would never forget, and it gives you a lot of insight about your own life, and it allows you to reflect on your own blessings and your own contributions to society and how you can improve them.
Yeah, to kind of just kind of re-say and I'm forgetting the word now, and to echo of what's been said. I think, yeah, recognizing, you know, that you can do something, is always an important thing. And if you want to do something, it can be done. And I think this was in August, so we're talking about 2 or 3 months of harsh lockdown, not seeing friends, not seeing people, essentially having your life on stop. And at first it was very hard for everyone. I think I'm kind of dealing with it better, but I know not everyone is. So I kind of want to say, not only was this an inspiring thing for us to do to help people in need, but I think it was a good reminder that if you want to do something and if you believe that you can do something, you will find a way. Because we had an idea, we didn't know how much we were going to have. Once we had a lot, we then were told, yeah, actually, we can't make that delivery for you. But at that point, we decided that no wasn't an answer, because we had the things, we want to do it, and we got it done. Now, obviously, I say that and I realize, I have a few privileges that maybe not everyone has, so it's not going to be that easy for everyone. But certainly that feeling that you can be useful to society and to yourself after essentially society stopping unprecedentedly was a really good and a fresh reminder of what I can do for myself and what everyone can do for themselves, but also a reminder of how the community around you is a lot more positive than at the time was being made to feel. Because I mean, I know a lot of people from different countries, different income groups and backgrounds, and all of them, whether it was a few pounds donations or quite a few pounds donations, yeah, the spirit of wanting to help out and having something done in a concrete way in such a difficult period was quite a refreshing feeling and a very positive feeling. So yeah.
I think I wanted to add on to Roy's point about how like there were people from different classes who donated, whether they were not doing so well financially or were. I think with the Lebanese, in the Lebanese context specifically, in Lebanon, you can't access dollars unless it's from the black market, and $1 is 15,000 Lebanese lira. So when you put that into context, like just donating $1 is actually really significant for a Lebanese person. It makes such a huge difference. So you don't need to donate $50. And those who couldn't even donate money, they donated some of their clothing. You don't actually need to make a financial contribution to make a contribution or to make a difference.
And sorry, like if I'm dragging this on as well, but to add on what Mariam was saying, I think more than the actual contributions and donations that we got, I think the most powerful thing was having contacts on social media that could, help us share that. And I think having that nowadays is not only helping us access an education during a pandemic, but it's also helping us, get messages across of positivity and actually doing things in a concrete way. I mean, I had people who wanted to help out from all over the world, and it got to the point where I had to say no because I didn't know what I was going to do with all that. And I didn't want to make a commitment that I couldn't follow through on. But yeah, I think having those contacts on social media really made a difference. I mean, we had parents, friends, old teachers, cousins of friends. It was really like, I think at that point I realized how big the world is for something that in the grand context of things wasn't even that big, but for us it was huge because we were just 3 kids who decided to do something. So yeah, very overwhelming experience, and it like in a good way, obviously.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. I'll include underneath the video for anyone who's interested in getting involved in these related causes or issues, some further information. But yeah, thank you all so much, and good luck with your studies and the rest of your volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you.